In March of 2003, Madonna and good pal Megan Mullally of Will and Grace sat down for a dishy VH1 interview.
Are you asking me out?
Am I making a pass at you?
They talked about everything, from the revelation that sparked her new album, American Life, to raising kids, to the ever-changing Madonna image, as well as her controversial war-themed video, American Life.
I think in a way it does the video disservice to try to explain exactly what I'm saying.
But since that sit-down, Madonna's world has changed a lot. The U.S. invaded Iraq, and Madonna did something she's never done in her 20-year career: back down and pull the video before it ever aired.
Madonna has sounded the retreat on the release of her upcoming video, all out of sensitivity because of the war.
Coming up, Madonna talks for the first time about that difficult decision.
Best not to do interviews when you're grouchy.
You're not going to leave right now, are you?
No.
From the burning crosses of Like a Prayer to the sexual escapades of Justify My Love, Madonna has always pushed the envelope. Her video, American Life, was going to be no different.
Originally, I made the video because I felt the threat of war looming over us, and in my heart of hearts, I wanted to do anything I could to stop it from happening. I'm agreeing with everybody. Saddam Hussein is a bad guy, okay? But to somehow resolve the conflict without a lot of pain and suffering of innocent people was my, that's my dream and my goal. And I wanted to make a video that was going to wake people up and say, hey, stop being distracted by, all of your entertainments, TV, fashion shows, the superficial life. There's a real war going on here or about to go on here, and we have to do whatever we can to stop it.
Details about the video leaked out, causing people to question Madonna's message.
It's like this lynch mob mentality is kind of risen up, and suddenly I was making this video that was horrible and full of horrible things, and it was terribly irresponsible. Meanwhile, nobody saw it, and nobody knew what they were talking about.
Rumors about the video focused on one image in particular.
At the end of the video, there's a hand grenade that I throw, and it goes sailing through the air. And a hand grenade is a symbol of destruction and violence. And George Bush catches it and lights his cigar with it. And so it turns out it's not a hand grenade after all, it's just a lighter. And so that was my kind of wishful thinking, symbolically, that we could find a different way to deal with our conflicts with Iraq.
U.S. and British troops on the ground in Iraq, even Madonna felt she couldn't release the American Life video.
By the time it was finished, we were at war, and it just seemed like, it was just bad timing. And it seemed like no matter how much money I spent on it and how beautiful a video I thought it was artistically, it just wasn't the right time for it to come out.
Madonna produced a new video for the song, but she wasn't through talking about the issue.
It's ironic that we're fighting for democracy in Iraq because we ultimately aren't celebrating democracy here, because anybody who has anything to say against the war or against, the president or whatever is punished, and that's not democracy. It's people being intolerant.
There was also a very personal side to her decision.
My daughter goes to school. She walks down the street. My husband is a filmmaker and in the entertainment business, and I don't want to compromise them in any way, shape, or form.
Hi, I'm Megan Mullally, and I'm sitting here with the lovely Madonna. My little stack of research. I felt like I was back in college last night, is all I want to say.
You've done your homework.
Yeah. So you very kindly agreed to do an episode of Will and Grace. Did you have fun?
Thank you. I had such a good time. I loved it.
Would you like to explain the premise, or shall I?
Yes, I interview you to be my roommate, and basically the entire skit is about you and I kind of rubbing each other the wrong way.
Or the right way. It really was fun, though.
It was great.
It'll be fun.
I loved it. I liked all the writers. 5 people run in, do a huddle, come, change your line, and you just have that freshness
and people who really,
that
was my dog. And people who really know what they're doing. I know, it's so disappointing.
And the other thing I want to say is that her dog had to be on the set all the time. She kept going over and changing his diapers and
My
feeding
dog.
him stuff. I mean, he's like a bit weird.
Jeez.
I didn't even bring my kids on the set.
Kidding me. My poor dog had to have an operation. She's been in a delicate condition, but she's doing better, except
Haven't
for just
we all?
now, apparently. Yes. Why isn't there somebody changing our diapers is what I'd like to know.
Why can't someone cart us around in little cages? My personal life reflects itself in my music. That's what inspires me. Come on, girls! The whole reason I got into the music business wasn't because I thought I had a spectacular voice. It's because I had something to say. Never did I write a song and say, oh, God, this is too risky or this is too pop. It's just, is this what I want to say? Do I love the way this sounds? Is this where I am right now? I don't want to just keep doing the same thing and saying the same thing. It requires a lot of faith to just go forward and do things and to listen to your heart, regardless of what people are saying about you.
Okay, let's get on to more important things right now, which is your new album. I still call it an album because I'm very old. Well, oh no, okay, well, that's not true. We're the same age. Now, oddly enough, one of us has managed to stay in a teeny weeny bit shape than the other one of us. I'll leave that to the audience to discern. It's very hard to tell, but you have this great album, which I was loaned under penalty of death should I ever let anybody else hear any of it, and it's really fantastic.
Thank you.
Tell me how you were feeling, where you were coming from when you were putting the record together.
Basically, American Life is, I start the record off with that song, and it's the first single that I'm releasing because I feel like in one fell swoop it describes my state of mind when I was writing the record, which is I looked back at the 20 years behind me and I found myself in a place where, you know, in the conventional sense, I'd achieved so many things in terms of my career and my place in the world and what people think of me, and I'm very successful. I have lots of material things, and I realized that a lot of the things that I'd valued weren't important. So that's really what I mean when I say at the end of the rap, you know, I have all of these things. I've got a lawyer and a manager, an agent and a chef, 3 nannies, an assistant and a driver and a jet, but do you think I'm satisfied? Do you think that all of those things are making me happy? No. And, you know, the only thing that's really going to make you happy is the state of your soul, the way that you treat people, the love that you have in your heart. And I know that sounds really corny, but it's the truth. And nobody tells you that. A lot of people have a false impression that if you're famous, you're going to feel this incredible sense of fulfillment and you're going to be truly loved and truly happy.
Thank you.
But there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes with being famous. You belong to the public. People think they know you. People write about you and never imagine that you actually have feelings that they could be hurting. People stop thinking of you as a human being. There's more to life than being successful. Fame is a result, it's not a goal.
To become well known when you're young is rough.
Yeah.
Then to have to go through all of the changes that a person goes through in their life and the learning and the growing, but in such a public format, must have been so difficult, and yet you've turned it toward the positive.
I see how far I've come. It's not like I'm ashamed of who I was 10 years ago, but I just realized that I was going through life in a kind of willy-nilly way, and I was just kind of, in a way, slashing and burning. And sometimes you have to do that, to let go of your past. And I was angry about the way people perceived me. People would have these ideas that if you were perceived as being sexual, then you couldn't be intelligent, and, you know, so I was in this very kind of angry and provocative mood, and a lot of what I was doing at the time was very ego-driven, and I was trying to shock people, you know. I'm not sure if it was an altruistic reason, you know what I mean? Looking back on it, at the time, I felt very self-important, you know?
But you're going through that, just like anyone would, but you're going through it, and everybody's watching.
Yeah. At the end of the day, everyone changes and everyone grows, but if your changes and your growth are always documented, and you always have to comment on them or explain them, and of course, something you said and believed in a couple of years ago is going to change for a lot of people. But then if you say that, they'll say, but you said that before, and I'm constantly being held accountable for everything. And I mean, I'm not feeling sorry for myself, but, you know, it's been an incredible ride, adventure, test, whatever you want to call it, to go through all of it and still see the beauty and purity of life, and still have a kind of innocent outlook and not lose my own curiosity, and sense of adventure.
Coming up, Madonna on her little mini-me, and why it can be lonely at the top.
You have friends.
I don't. I really have no friends.
You have no friends.
When Madonna Speaks continues.